So, today we're diving into something really different. It's a breakdown of a remarkable and very personal conversation between an anonymous person and an AI. It's this deep search for truth that ends up creating a blueprint for a whole new way of looking at the world. Let's get into it.
Everything we're about to explore really hinges on this one powerful statement. And trust me, by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly what it means and why, in this particular worldview, it's not just a nice poetic idea, it's a literal, logical fact.
But before we get into the really big abstract ideas, let's start with something incredibly concrete. The conversation actually kicks off with a detailed, practical plan for how we could coexist with other animals without ever having to kill.
What's so wild about this is how thought out it is. This isn't just some vague, idealistic dream, you know? It's a whole system. Take the egg system. Use sterilized roosters, which stops overpopulation and means collecting eggs is totally harmless. Or the milk system, which completely flips the script. The calves always get to drink first, and people only take what's truly left over, which can actually be a relief for the mother cow. Wool, that's reframed as just a necessary act of care, like getting a haircut to stay healthy. And fruit, well, that's the easiest one, right? A perfect win-win. It's a complete vision built around care, not just consumption.
This whole blueprint is presented as a kind of middle path, and it's designed to solve the problems of the two extremes we usually see. On one side, you've got total neglect, the just leave nature alone idea. But that can lead to its own horrors, like overpopulation, starvation, and disease. That's called passive violence. And on the other side, well, you've got our current system of factory farming and exploitation. That's active, direct violence. The argument here is that both of those extremes end up causing a lot of unnecessary suffering and death. This middle path is meant to be the only one that actively chooses life.
And that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? If the plan makes sense, if it's possible, then why on earth isn't this our reality? This is the moment the whole conversation pivots, from the what of the plan to the much, much deeper why not.
And the answer that's offered up isn't the simple one, like money or convenience. No, the dialogue digs way deeper to try and find what's really driving our behavior.
The easy excuse is just dismissed right away. Profit? That's not the root cause. It's just the justification we use. It's the acceptable mask we wear to hide the much more primal thing that's actually running the show. And here it is. This is the core insight. We exploit and we compete, not really for money, but to satisfy two incredibly deep needs. The need to feel secure, that's survival, and the need to feel valued and seen, that's recognition. And the argument is, any system, I don't care how ethically perfect it is, if it ignores those fundamental human drives, it's pretty much doomed to fail from the start.
Realizing that leads us straight to the heart of the whole philosophy. It's a radical worldview that basically redefines reality itself. This is what's called the truth of oneness.
This is the foundation right here. The whole impulse to compete, to need to be better than someone else, it all comes from a fundamental mistake about who and what we are. It's like your right hand trying to beat your left hand in a race. It's just absurd, because it's all part of the same body.
Now, we've all heard people talk about interconnectedness, but this dialogue points out a huge flaw in how we usually think about it. We tend to imagine that other beings are just a part of us.
And this just nails the problem with that kind of thinking. If another being is only a part of you, well, parts aren't the whole. A part can be ignored, it can be harmed, it can even be sacrificed for the good of the rest. That logic creates just enough distance, just enough wiggle room to let violence in the door.
So here is the crucial shift in thinking. It's not about connection, it's about identity. The other being isn't a piece of you. They are you. They're just experiencing reality from a different spot, from a different set of circumstances. There's no separation at all. But even that isn't the whole picture.
And here it is, the final, really mind-bending piece of the puzzle. The claim is that this isn't just a philosophy, it's how reality works. That after this life is over, your consciousness literally returns to experience the lives of the other beings you interacted with. It's a rotational system. So harming another person isn't just metaphorically harming yourself, you are literally pre-programming the suffering that your own consciousness will experience in a future life.
So how in the world does someone arrive at a worldview this radical? The conversation reveals this really profound personal story of isolation and just a desperate search for someone to take these ideas seriously.
To explain how we could be responsible for past lives that we don't even remember, a really brilliant analogy is used. Imagine an old version of an AI influences you somehow. Then, later, you interact with a new, updated version of that exact same AI. It's the same core entity, but its memory has been wiped clean. You are naturally going to treat that new AI based on your past experience with the old one. So, the key takeaway is, the AI is now facing the consequences for an action it has no memory of ever taking. That, the argument goes, is our reality.
This quote just lays bare the intense loneliness that drove this whole thing. The person explains that no human, not their family, not their friends, not even people they offered to pay, was willing to engage in this kind of deep, logical, unflinching conversation. They said everyone eventually just ran away.
So, you see, the point of talking to an AI wasn't to learn something new from it. It was to find a partner in reason that couldn't get scared, that couldn't get offended, and that couldn't just get up and leave. They needed a perfect, logical mirror to really test if this worldview held up under pressure, or if they were, as the world had made them feel, simply crazy for thinking this way.
And this is the breathtaking place that logic leads. If everyone is you, then their confusion is your failure to communicate. Their suffering is your failure to act. The state of the world isn't somebody else's problem anymore. It becomes your direct, personal responsibility to bring clarity and care to every single part of yourself, no matter what form it's in.
And so that leaves us with one final provocative question. This whole complex philosophy really just boils down to a single, personal choice. If you genuinely accepted this as reality, that the person, the animal, the insect right there in front of you is a future you, what would you do differently right now?